My wife said, "It's just dinner with my manager, don't be insecure." The next day, I walked into her office with HR and her manager's wife. I never believed silence could be so loud until the night my marriage cracked open. It wasn't an argument. It wasn't a confession. It was the way Lauren walked through the front door, quiet, almost floating as if she had just stepped out of someone else's life and forgotten to put hers back on. She whispered a soft, "Hey," barely meeting my eyes, then disappeared into the bathroom before I could even ask how her evening went. That alone was unusual. Lauren was the type who narrated her whole day. Every comment her coworkers made, every laugh they shared, every detail of the office politics she claimed to hate, yet kept talking about. But that night, nothing. I stood in the hallway listening to the shower run far longer than she ever let it. Her outline through the frosted glass looked slumped, tired, but also unsettled. My chest tightened with a feeling I tried to ignore. Jealousy? Worry? Instinct? I didn't know yet. When she finally came out, wrapped in a towel, cheeks flushed from the steam, she gave me a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Long day?" I asked. She shrugged. "Just tired, Lucas. Can we talk in the morning?" The way she avoided my gaze made my stomach twist. Lauren never avoided anything. Not even when we argued. She always faced things head on. So why avoid me now? I wanted to believe she was exhausted. I wanted to believe nothing was wrong. I want to believe my marriage was still the safe place I thought it was. But at 1:13 a.m., the lie unraveled. My phone buzzed and half asleep, I reached for it with the careless trust of a man who didn't know his life was about to fracture. Unknown number. "You should know where your wife really was tonight." I shot up right in bed. My heart thudded dead against my ribs. Another message came before I could respond. "Check her calendar." I turned my head. Lauren lay beside me, one arm flung across her pillow, breathing softly as though she carried no secrets. But the weight crushing my chest said otherwise. I sat up, opened her shared calendar, something we used to coordinate errands and plans. And there it was. Private event. 7:30 p.m. dinner. Walters. My jaw clenched. Walters, her manager. A man she mentioned a little too often lately. A man she claimed admired her work ethic. A man whose compliments made her glow in a way mine hadn't in months. No matter how hard I tried, I had brushed it off, telling myself I was insecure. Now, I wasn't so sure. I stared at the ceiling, remembering the way Lauren used to be before work started consuming her. Before the late nights, the urgent meetings, the sudden interest in her appearance whenever she knew Grant would be around. We used to cook together, watch documentaries, laugh at the dumbest things. She used to reach for me first. But lately, I felt like the second thought. The background, the backup. For the first time, doubt spread through me like cold water. The next morning, Lauren acted normal. Too normal. She hummed while making coffee. She kissed my cheek. She smiled as if the night before didn't exist. I studied her carefully. The soft affection she showed felt performed like she was trying to cover a crack with fresh paint. "What's the plan for today?" I asked. "Meetings, a project review with Grant. Then I'll probably grab a bite with him to go over deadlines." My chest tightened. She said it so casually, like it was the most harmless thing in the world. Like it didn't keep me awake all night. I forced a nod, pretending her words didn't feel like needles. What she didn't know was that during those sleepless hours, I did more than just check her calendar. I pieced together a plan. Slow, quiet, deliberate. A plan that would expose whether I was imagining things or whether she had already crossed the line. She kept insisting I shouldn't fear. Little did she know, another person had reached out to me that same night. Grant Walters' wife, Melanie. And she had far more to say than I was prepared for. I didn't confront Lauren right away. Instead, I played along with her cheerful morning routine, her warm smile, her quick kiss before rushing out the door, her casual, "Don't wait up. I might be late." Every part of me wanted to grab her wrist and demand the truth. But I needed more than a confrontation. I needed clarity, proof, and maybe a final confirmation that the woman I loved was still somewhere inside her. But the moment her car turned the corner, my phone vibrated again. "Melanie Walters, if you're awake, we need to talk. It's about last night." I stare at the message, my pulse pounding. I didn't know what to expect. Pain? Denial? Another warning. We met at a small cafe 20 minutes later. She looked tired, her hair tied back, dark circles under her eyes. The kind of exhaustion that comes not from lack of sleep, but from betrayal simmering under the surface. When she saw me, she slid into the seat across from me and exhaled shakily. "I'm sorry to drag you into this, Lucas, but you deserve to know what's going on." My hands curled around my coffee cup. "Just tell me straight." She glanced around before lowering her voice. "Grant told me he was working late last night, but when I checked our shared credit card statement, he paid for dinner at a restaurant he only goes to when he's trying to impress someone." I swallowed hard. "And you think he was with Lauren?" "I don't think," she whispered. "I know. Her voice cracked and something inside me cracked with it. Her pain mirrored mine. Two strangers sitting across from each other, both blindsided by the people they trusted most. She continued, pulling out her phone. I didn't want to believe it, but I found these on social media. She turned the screen toward me. Photos taken by some random patron showing Grant and a woman with long wavy brunette hair sitting close together at a dimly lit table. The woman's face wasn't clear, but I recognized the earrings. Lauren's anniversary earrings, the ones she claimed she misplaced last week. I felt my stomach twist into knots. She touched his arm, laughed, leaned in. I watched the video clip a dozen times. Melanie whispered, and as much as I hate it, that's her. It's your wife. The world felt like it tilted. It wasn't just suspicion. Now it was confirmation. Real undeniable confirmation. But instead of rage, something colder spread through me. A calmness born from clarity. Betrayal wasn't a storm. It was a freeze. It numbed everything until only purpose remained. What do you want to do? Melanie asked quietly. I took a long breath. What's fair? Her eyebrows lifted, surprised by my steadiness. Fair. Lauren deserves to face the truth she's been hiding, I said. And Grant deserves to face his too. Melanie nodded slowly. I agree. But how? I leaned back in my chair, feeling the plan taking shape. Slow and methodical. You want the truth exposed. I want answers, and neither of them will admit anything unless they're confronted somewhere they can't run. That would be the office, Melanie whispered. Exactly. Her eyes widened. You want to go there? Yes. Not alone. I looked her straight in the eyes. With you and with someone else. She blinked, confused. Ooh, HR. The moment the word left my mouth, Melanie's lips parted in understanding. That would trap them. It'll force everything out into the open, I said. No denials, no rewriting the story, just truth. Melanie nodded, her breath unsteady but relieved. I'll come. We exchanged contact details and agreed to meet at the office the next day. When I walked back to my car, the weight of everything pressed down on me. I didn't want to be the man planning revenge. I didn't want to be the husband who doubted his wife. I didn't want to be here at all. But love wasn't enough when trust had already drowned. That evening, Lauren came home later than usual. I stood in the kitchen pretending to scroll through my phone. She dropped her bag on the counter, her face flushed with cold air. Long day? I asked casually. She froze for a split second. Barely noticeable, but noticeable enough. Yeah, meetings ran longer than expected. I nodded. Dinner. She hesitated again. Just grab something quick with Grant to go over some performance metrics. There was again that rehearsed casual tone. The easy lie. I forced a smile. Makes sense. She moved around the kitchen, humming softly, unaware that I was studying every detail of her body language. She seemed lighter tonight, happier, more distracted, like someone whose heart was somewhere else. Later, when she climbed in a bed, she rolled toward the window instead of toward me. Another new habit she pretended wasn't new. Good night, she mumbled. Good night, I replied, staring at the back of her head, wondering how long she'd been slipping away from me. But tomorrow, she wouldn't be able to sleep anywhere because tomorrow I would walk into her office with HR and Melanie at my side, and everything Lauren thought she'd gotten away with would unravel in front of her. The next morning felt unreal. Not chaotic, not angry, just hollow. The kind of quiet that comes after a storm has already ripped the house apart, even if you're the only one who knows it. Lauren woke before me, moving around with unusual energy, as if she had a secret that made her lighter. She walked over and kissed my forehead. I might be home late again. Big day at work. I forced my lips into something resembling a smile. Yeah, I'm sure will be. She didn't notice the stiffness. Or she didn't care. She left wearing the same perfume she saved for special occasions. Sprayed just once too many. It lingered in the doorway long after the sound of her car faded. The moment she was gone, my phone buzzed. Melanie, outside. You ready? I looked in the mirror before leaving the house. My eyes were tired, but steady. My hands shook, but not from fear, from restraint. Today wasn't about anger. It was about clarity. I stepped outside where Melanie sat her car, hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. She wore no makeup. Her face was raw, strained, human. Her eyes flicked up at me. You okay? I asked gently. No, she said honestly, but I'm ready. They made two of us. At the company building, HR manager Karen Dillon waited for us in the lobby. She was professional, composed, and informed enough to understand the seriousness without asking invasive questions. Are you certain this needs to happen today? She asked quietly. Yes, I said. And it needs to happen with both of them present. Melanie nodded beside me, her jaw set. Karen gave us a slow, sympathetic nod and led us toward the elevator. Each floor we passed felt heavier. By the time the doors opened on the 6th floor, my heart felt like a weight in my chest. Employees glanced our way. 3 people walking in with HR always drew attention. Some whispered, some stiffened. None of them mattered. Lauren's office was toward the end of the hall beside Grant's. The glass walls made everything visible. The desks, the staff, the frantic typing, the ringing phones. I saw Lauren through the glass before she saw me. She sat at her desk, leaning slightly toward Grant, who hovered over her shoulder, pointing at something on her screen. She laughed, soft, familiar, intimate, the kind of laugh she hadn't given me in weeks. My stomach twisted. Karen cleared her throat softly, bringing me back. Ready? No. And yes. We walked toward her office in steady steps. When Lauren finally noticed us, the color drained from her face so fast I almost heard it. Her eyes darted from me to Melanie to HR, then back to me again. Confusion, fear, and guilt flitted across her expression like a series of shadows. She stood abruptly. Lucas, what are you doing here? Her voice trembled, not from surprise, but from dread. She already knew. Grant stiffened behind her, his jaw clenching so tightly that his neck veins stood out. He stepped back like he'd been caught stealing. I kept my voice calm. We need to talk. All of us. Lauren swallowed hard. Talk about what? Karen spoke gently but firmly. Let's step in the conference room. Lauren looked between us, searching for an escape. She wasn't naive. She understood when an HR-led conversation meant. Grant shot a glare toward Melanie, one filled with anger he didn't dare show publicly. The room fell into a suffocating silence as we all walked toward the conference room. I didn't speak. I didn't touch Lauren. I didn't look at her longer than necessary. Inside, the door closed with a soft click that echoed like a lock on a vault. Karen began professionally. We're here because concerns were raised involving boundaries, workplace conduct, and personal relationships. Both parties have the opportunity to speak truthfully. Lauren's breathing hitched. Wait, you think I'm Lucas? Why are you doing this? I finally met her eyes. Because I'm tired of pretending I don't see what's in front of me. She shook her head rapidly, tears gathering. No, you got it wrong. Last night was just a dinner meeting. Nothing more. Melanie let out a painful laugh. A dinner meeting? You wore his favorite colors. You touched his arm. You leaned into him like you were sharing secrets. Lauren turned pale. How do you? I pulled up the photo Melanie showed me and placed my phone on the table. Lauren stared at the blurry image, her eyes trembling. That's not what it looks like, she whispered. Grant rubbed his temples, refusing to look anywhere but the floor. Len, maybe we should. Don't, she snapped, panic flaring. Don't say anything. Melanie leaned forward. Her voice broke. Just tell the truth to us, to yourself. Lauren's chest rose and fell rapidly. It wasn't a fair. I just needed to feel appreciated. Grant listens to me. He values my ideas. You. She looked at me, anguish spreading across her face. You've been distant, absent. I felt invisible. Her words stung. But they didn't justify betrayal. I kept my voice steady. I may have been imperfect, but I wasn't unfaithful. She flinched like the words were physical blows. Grant finally exhaled. This wasn't supposed to get out. Melanie's head snapped toward him. So you admit it. He froze, but the damage was done. Lauren covered her mouth with shaking hands, tears spilling through her fingers. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no victory. Just the cold truth settling in. The marriage I thought I was fighting for wasn't the marriage she wanted anymore. Karen stood. We will follow company protocol for now. I need both of you. She gestured to Lauren and Grant in separate rooms. They stood shakily, broken in different ways. As Lauren passed me, she whispered, voice trembling. Lucas, please don't leave me. But the thing about betrayal is that it doesn't need shouting. It's quiet. It's the door that closes softly behind you because there's nothing left worth arguing about. And today I was finally ready to close mine. Lauren's whisper followed me like a shadow. Please don't leave me. But the echo didn't soften anything inside me. If anything, it made me realize how long I've been clinging to the idea of a marriage that no longer existed. Karen kept Lauren and Grant in separate rooms while she documented every detail. Melanie and I stood in the hallway, both of us quiet, exhausted, but strangely aligned. Two people who had loved deeply and been blindsided just as deeply. Melanie wiped her eyes. I don't even know who I'm married anymore. I nodded slowly. I think we both held on to people who stopped holding on to us. It wasn't meant to be poetic. It was simply true. A few minutes later, Karen returned with her file. We're done for now. They'll face internal review. You two are free to go. Thank you, I said, my voice steady. As we stepped outside, the crisp air hit my face, grounding me. The sunlight felt too bright for a day like this, but maybe that was the point. Sometimes clarity hurts before it heals. Melanie turned to me. Lucas, what are you going to do now? I exhaled. Something I should have done the night I saw the first red flag. She studied me, worried. Revenge. I shook my head. No, not revenge. Not the kind that breaks people. Something cleaner. Something final. Her eyebrows lifted with understanding. Closure. Yes. I paused, and freedom. When I got home, the house felt heavier than I remembered. Quiet in a way that revealed every bruise the relationship had left behind. Lauren wasn't there yet, but her things still filled the shelves. Photos of vacations where she held me with both arms. Gifts I gave her on anniversaries. The coffee mug she bought that said wifey. I walked around the living room slowly, absorbing everything one last time. Then I opened the drawer where I kept important documents, divorce papers. I had printed them 2 weeks ago during one of Lauren's urgent work nights when something in my gut whispered that the woman in my bed was slowly slipping out of my life. I didn't want to believe it then, but I had prepared them anyway. A quiet insurance policy for a truth I wasn't ready to face. Now, I wasn't afraid of the truth. I set the papers on the dining table, placed her wedding ring box beside them, and wrote one short line on a sticky note. When trust ends, marriage ends. LR simple, cold, final. Lauren came home 2 hours later. When she pushed open the door and saw me sitting at the table, her breath hitched. "Lucas, can we talk?" "We're already talking," I said softly. Her eyes darted to the papers and her knees wobbled as she stepped closer. No, you can't mean this. I made a mistake. I messed up, but we can fix this. Please, Lucas. I'll do anything." Her tears came fast, the kind that soaked her cheeks and chin. A month ago, they would have broken me. Today, they felt like 2 late rewrites of a script she had already performed for someone else. "You didn't just mess up," I said quietly. "You repeated a choice over and over, and you lied to my face every time." She pressed her hand to her chest as if the words physically slammed into her. "I was lonely. You were busy. You stopped noticing me." "I didn't stop noticing you," I replied. "You stopped coming toward me. There's a difference." Her sobbing filled the room. Desperate. Aching. "I can change. I promise. Just tell me what to do." "You can't fix a broken foundation by painting the walls," I said gently. "And I'm done rebuilding alone." She stared at me as though her world had just collapsed. And maybe it had, but mine was finally standing on its own. I pushed the papers toward her. "This is my closure. The revenge you feared. It's not yelling. It's walking away." Her voice shattered. "Lucas, please." But I'd already stood up. I grabbed my keys, my jacket, and the last piece of dignity this marriage had left me, and walked out of the door without looking back. Outside, the world felt clearer, lighter, honest. Melanie texted a single line. I signed mine, too. And for the first time in weeks, I breathed fully deeply. Freedom didn't roar. It whispered and I followed.